very systematic and slowly make it to the operating room. An emergency C-section would be more um, baby, the heart rate goes down and it stays down. If we do see what's called a deceleration of the heart rate on the monitor and it lasts or goes quite low, several people will be in your room all at once and will be explaining to you what we're looking at. And the first steps are to move and shift position. But if it does stay down, then we would do an emergency C-section. So we have two operating rooms here on Oahu. So again, my apologies to Hilo and Maui. The specifics of your hospitals, you will really have to check in with your group. I'm not sure if they're doing tours. I know we have not done tours yet, but you may have a conversation when you call labor and delivery or with your providers for the details of that. But we have two operating rooms that are right here on the floor. Our nurse anesthetists do the epidurals and they would go in for the surgery. If you already have an epidural, then they would make sure that it is adequate or they dose it a little heavier. If you don't have an epidural and it's an emergency, generally you would go to sleep for that surgery. And whenever somebody goes to sleep for the surgery, then they cannot have somebody with them at the time of the surgery because of the urgent situation. So sometimes a C-section can be scheduled. So like the first video that we saw, her baby was breech. So she had a scheduled date to come in. We can try to turn babies that are breech. So it's called an external cephalic version. But that is not without risk. So we'll go through that and you get to decide if that's something you'd want to try. And sometimes the C-sections, when they're not planned, and they're non-urgent, it can be lack of progress of the cervix for dilating. Sometimes baby doesn't descend into the pelvis. In my experience, if the baby's too big to get into the pelvis, generally we'll see that. Fetal distress, the heart rate, or if somebody has a herpes outbreak to the vagina at the time of delivery, we will recommend a C-section for that too. And though it's very common, it's still major abdominal surgery and it requires special care for yourself. The recovery is usually about 8 more weeks. So you do get out of bed relatively quickly. You want to make sure to take nice deep breaths so that you don't get a lung infection. And we really do schedule medication, not always opiate. So even Tylenol and Motrin can really help with that C-section recovery. There are risks, so bleeding, organ damage, and infection. So the consent form she signed, that's what she was discussing with the doctor. And then passing gas is important after your cesarean. So we really do want to hear about that. And you can be kind of gassy and it can be quite uncomfortable. Um, and so that'll be important for your bowels and bladder to return to normal. So the postpartum period, you did it. You'll be at parenthood. So make sure to check out the newborn postpartum course on kp.org. That one is recorded. So baby goes skin to skin. You've heard me say that a few times. That promotes breastfeeding, regulates the baby's temperature, and they stay warmer, cry less, and nurse sooner when they're skin to skin with you. Birth partners get a chance too. When the mama gets up to the shower, that's a great time for Papa to take off his shirt and put baby right on skin to skin, unwrap baby, and then put a blanket over the two of you. So you'll be given identification bands. So baby has also a little alarm band. We are a locked unit so that we keep everybody, all of our families safe. And so the baby has a little alarm that if it were to go past a certain spot, it would announce stop, stop, stop. So you also will all have matching ID numbers. The only time the baby leaves your room postpartum is if you choose to have your baby boy circumcised or for the hearing screening, and all babies go for the hearing screening. So for the hearing screening, babies usually go alone, but the guy who runs that, he's so dynamic, puts his name on the board, shows you his badge and what room that he will be in doing the test. So your recovery, You'll stay in the labor room for about 2 hours. You might feel relieved, ecstatic, exhausted. Usually, breastfeeding is started in those first 2 hours because baby's awake for 2 hours and then they're asleep for 24. So that's really that window to get breastfeeding started. And most babies and parents experience a period of alertness and curiosity for those first 2 hours, and then everybody gets really tired. After the 2 hours of bonding, breastfeeding, recovery, mom and babe need rest, sleep, and then take this time, this early days, to just talk to baby, touch, hold, sniff your newborn. And then remember that postpartum recovery is not about just recovering from birth, but the whole dynamic changes that took place during your pregnancy. So you've got this. You can do it. Trust your body. Call us with questions or signs or symptoms of labor. And it's okay to park at that roundabout. There are the two places that are marked with a stork. You can move it later. You can go to the car park if mom is able to walk. There are wheelchairs at the front door if you need them. Usually there's security down there too. And our number is posted if you need us. You just go straight up to the 6th floor Family Birth Center. There's a little intercom that you press the button for, and then you'll come into labor and delivery. It's the same entrance to that area for postpartum too. So you do not need to stop on the 1st floor. There are no papers for you to file. We have your entire medical record here with us in the Epic medical records on the computer. So thank you for allowing us to be part of a very special time of your lives. I hope that this class has made you more prepared, and also that you know that we've got you, right? We will do all that we can to achieve a healthy, normal birth for you. This poem is just a reminder that there's a lot of special fancy language that's thrown out there, and the memorization of the active phase and the early phase and pushing and all of that. But in reality, your body knows what to do. You don't need to know all those fancy words. You just need to really trust your body. Okay, so questions at all? I am going to get out of my shared screen view and look at the chat if there's anything. Yes, skin to skin in the OR as well. And support person can bring a phone or a camera for photos in the operating room. And some of our physicians will let you play music too, which is so lovely. Okay. And then I think John is going to do the recording. Looks like he's already posted that. That's the full version, so he will edit eventually and I think put it on YouTube. So you could always call in a couple of weeks and ask the ed department that you signed up for this class with, and they can probably send you an email link. And let's see what else is in our chat. Okay, I'll stay on for just a little bit, but I know it's late. Again, thank you for understanding that Sunny and I are doing this outside of our other full-time schedule. But it's just lovely to be able to spend 3 hours talking about what your amazing bodies are going to do. Thank you, everybody. Sleep well and take care. And I'll see you here, labor and delivery. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Sunny.
Thanks, John. Thanks for staying on, John.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi,
This is
Jennifer.
hi. I just wanted to confirm the Kaiser Welcome to Kaiser webinar that happened maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that? Because I joined on it and it never let me in.
Oh, well, that one's more for earlier in pregnancy. There is a recorded version of that too. It's actually on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
take a look
so
at that.
yeah, if you are, because you come to YPO, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so I can give you there's a dot phrase for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you know who you see next?
I school tomorrow and it's what was her name? I mean, it was a doctor and I
Okay.
haven't been to her yet, so I
Okay.
don't know.
I can put on the, I can look for it and put in the dot phrase for the link. There's a picture and then there's like a title with an underline, and on your after visit summary on the desktop, if you click on that, you will be linked to the video.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much. It was very informative. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Sleep well. Bye-bye.
Bye.